Good evening, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Welcome back to another episode of Real Talk with me, Empress Oracle, your favorite realist and, of course, sexy spiritual advisor. I hope you guys are doing well. Anybody who's watching this, I hope you're doing well. And I hope you're having a wonderful, just life in general. And even if you're not, just remember, it'll always get better as long as you're alive. So, for this episode of Real Talk, I just want to share with you guys a few harsh truths that I have learned thus far this lifetime. I've learned a lot of things. However, these right here, I don't want to just overwhelm and bombard you guys with a whole bunch. So I had to break it up in sections, okay? These are just some things that I've learned. I've made the harsh realization, and unfortunately, a lot of other people have not quite put two and two together in certain ones of these scenarios. So I'm just gonna point this shit out for you. Take it with a grain of salt, okay? And if it doesn't apply, let it fly. But hopefully it can help some of you guys to unfuck yourselves the way I had to unfuck myself. You're welcome. You're welcome. No problem. So the first thing we're going to talk about is toxic relationships and Stockholm syndrome. Toxic relationships, people who always get into toxic relationships, that they have Stockholm syndrome, whether they want to realize it or not. And Stockholm syndrome is where the victim falls in love with the abuser. Now, unfortunately, most of the people who are in toxic relationships, they got that toxicity through how they were raised, what environment, how they saw their mother being treated, how they saw the males in their environment treating women, or vice versa. So they displayed those behaviors and characteristics into their relationships because they think that that's normal. And sometimes even if they know it's not normal, they don't care because they like the toxicity, they like the drama, and instead of going and doing something more productive with their energy, they would rather, spread that toxicity. It's exciting for them. And unfortunately, people get used to that. Some people are really addicted to toxic relationships. Some people are really and truly addicted to toxicity, and they don't even realize they have Stockholm syndrome. They have not only fell in love with the toxicity, 9 times out of 10, they fell in love with the person who is toxic themselves. And sometimes people just fall in love with that energy. They get so used to that energy that they just go and look for that energy in every relationship. And that is a form of Stockholm syndrome. The next harsh truth that I have for some of you guys. Oh, and also too, I'm not going to tussle with y'all in the comments about any of this. I said what I said. You don't have to agree. It's okay. The second thing is the most overt displays of animosity are used to hide sexual indiscretions. And that is most very true. A lot of times, I'm going to tell you, if you are ever around anybody, which you guys know, the people who are overly homophobic, that's because they homos, right? We all know that. However, the most overt display of animosity that you may see, even if it's towards, a man and a woman, a natural heterosexual interaction, if you have a boyfriend and he just cannot stand your best friend for no reason, and he's not giving you any kind of reason, but he's like, I don't know, I just don't like her, something about her, she a hoe, this and that. He likes her. He wants to have sex with her, or he's messing around with her on the low. You can pick and choose. It might be all three. However, this is common, all right? And all of these things that I'm saying, not only have I experienced these personally, I have seen these happen in other people's relationships, and I have spoken to people who have either experienced this firsthand or they know somebody who experienced it, and this goes for all of these things, right? So this is not just me speaking for myself. I guarantee you, if somebody just can't stand somebody, they put up a big old fuss around this person based off of their sexuality, their sexual indiscretions, their sexual prowess or something, it's something correlated to that person that person that is cutting up is attracted to. And they're trying to throw you off of their scent, basically. Trust. Okay, overly promiscuous people are usually gay and are promiscuous to try to validate themselves to others because they are not confident in their true identity. Somebody tell me I'm lying. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. And I'm going to tell you, I have been around the world a few times. I was in the military for 11 years. I have met a lot of people thus far in my fulfilling 41 years of life. I've come across many people from many different geographical backgrounds, religious ideations, all kinds of shit. And I'm going to tell you, every single person that I have met that is homosexual currently, they went through a whole phase. They went through a phase where they were overly promiscuous. And they were trying to prove something, not even to themselves, but to others, because they were afraid to live in their truth. How do I know this? Because I ask questions, damn it. I'm not one of those people that's just gonna accept whatever you tell me. Baby, I question God. I needs to know. I needs to know. And if I'm curious about something, I'm going to ask. I have asked, literally, almost every homosexual person I have met. And they all have some elaborate stories of their sex capades before they decided to come out of the closet. Okay? And also, too, it never really works. It never really works for them. They'll even go so far as to try to have children to cover it up. However, the proof is always somewhere in the pudding right there, you know, and I'm going to tell you, a lot of people do not agree with this, but I do feel as though some people are born homosexual. Okay? And what people have to understand is being born homosexual or being born gay has absolutely nothing to do with being attracted to somebody's genitalia. It is an attraction to a particular energy. Just because somebody is female, they may embody masculine energy. All right? And then they may be more attracted to feminine energy in a feminine body. And I'm going to tell you also too, children know what they like. Pay attention to your children and what they like. If you want to know if your child is going to be gay when they grow up, pay attention to what they like. And I'm not talking about if they like to play with dolls or anything like that. No, it is a difference. It is okay to play with dolls and you're a boy. It's okay to play with trucks and you're a girl. That's not what I'm talking about. Mothers, you know what your child likes. You know. It's just that a lot of people think that, you know, denial is just a river in Africa, and it's not. And unfortunately, that causes a lot of trauma in familial relationships, and it causes a lot of dissension, okay, a lot of separation between parents and children who are not willing to accept their children for who they are. And I'm going to tell you, God gave you that child and that energy for a reason, whether it goes with your religious beliefs or not. That person was put in your life for a reason, for you to accept that and have an open mind. Another harsh truth, pedophilia is hereditary, whether the person recalls it or not. And when I say it's hereditary, yes, there are people who come from a family of pedophiles. They are. Sometimes it can be a chemical imbalance within them, but also too, when I'm saying it's hereditary, any person who is a sexual predator, who has molested anybody or anything like that, it has happened to them when they were young, whether they recall it or not. A lot of times we suppress traumatic memories and we don't even try to do it. It's just kind of like a self-survival tactic that people do, and sometimes you don't realize it. And also too, most people don't start forming permanent memories until they're older in age, like 4 or 5. You have a few children that can remember thoughts from back when they're like 2 and stuff. But 9 times out of 10, the people who can remember those traumatic memories, something has to happen to them later on in life to re-trigger those memories for them to recall it. Okay? Because the brain is naturally going to try to preserve, you know, your memories, your mental faculties. You know, it's kind of like a survival tactic of the brain to put those memories in a part of your brain where you don't recall it anymore. However, it's still there, and it always comes to the surface in some way, shape, or form, right? And a lot of times with pedophilia, it comes up to the surface with them touching a minor. Self-sabotage normally starts externally. And now what I'm going to say when I say self-sabotage normally starts externally, self-sabotage normally starts with people around you. okay? Because think about children again. A child does not have reservations on doing anything, okay? That's why it is important to always maintain your inner child. Always be in touch with your inner child, right? Because the things that children do, the things that children say, the things that children speak, that's the truth. That's why they always say, if you want to know the truth, ask a child, right? And a lot of times self-sabotage comes from outside sources who tell the person, no, they cannot do that. And 9 times out of 10, especially when it comes to familial, a lot of times people's family will tell them that they cannot do certain things because they did not accomplish it. And it's so sad, but these previous generations prior to us, unfortunately, they had a lot of self-limiting beliefs and they were stuck in a lot of familial traditions and stuff that honestly were generational curses. They limited themselves, whether it was because of religious beliefs, whether it was because of familial customs, whether it was because of their geographical location. They limited themselves in their beliefs. So when the child or a person comes around with an idea that is not common to them, they shoot it down, or they start planting seeds of doubt in that person because either they haven't done it, they can't do it, they haven't seen anybody else do it, right? Or they don't want you to do it because God forbid, then you might end up being better than them or more successful than them. So they plant those seeds of doubt, and they don't have to plant seeds of doubt by just straight up saying, no, you can't do it. They start questioning your intention. They start questioning your motives. They start questioning your plan of action. They start questioning your faith. And that plants the seeds of doubt for self-sabotage within yourself and within other people. And a lot of people don't realize that. A lot of times people go and they share their ideas and their thoughts with the people closest to them, thinking that they're going to give them words of inspiration. And a lot of times people are shocked and surprised that you could come up with such a grandiose idea, so big and lavish, and they did not. So they're going to be like, oh, I don't know. You sure? It might not. Y'all know what I'm talking about. And you'll start off being so confident and so sure, but people don't understand. Your confidence, it starts waning, it starts going down when you don't have that outside support. A lot of people need that support, okay? It takes a lot of people a lot of time to build up that self-confidence on their own, especially if they're in an environment where people are in a crabs in a barrel mentality, or they feel like, I want you to do good but not better than me, or they feel like, no, it's impossible for you to do that because I never thought of it. That's that bullshit right there. That's that bullshit. And I have seen so many people self-sabotage themselves from the seeds of doubt that were planted in their fertile soil from barren people. Don't let that go over your head now. People who don't believe in themselves, projecting onto you or putting doubts in your head, that's the number one way to kill your dreams, okay? I tried to keep that short and sweet. Just go ahead and marinate on those facts. And if that shit hitting, or you know somebody who this message would serve, go ahead and share with them. And don't forget to like, okay? I love you. Have a wonderful day. Bye.